basically the big update with Johnny Somali is he's now privacy claiming people, trying to say that his face is private information.
Oh my God.
So he's privacy claiming videos when his face is shown. A legal
I don't know
mindset
if that works if you're a public
it doesn't,
figure. Yeah,
but you can still submit it. I mean, it shouldn't like showing video of someone's face. I mean, like, why would you do it if they weren't some?
I was just going to say,
figure.
if they're a public figure, then it falls under fair use. So
Yep, public figure, politician, and with public figure, it's even limited. Public figure is kind of the same,
right. You can't like use everything if they're not a president or a elected official or whatever like that. But like, you are allowed to a point, like to report the news and for
he's an international story at this point.
Exactly. So like, yeah, he's not going to win this case.
Yeah, but he's trying to take down videos of people that are criticizing him, and it's not going to work. If anything, it's going to bring more attention to him. And this guy blows me away because he's in Korea right now. He's in South Korea facing charges and like openly mocking basically the judge in the country still. And I just don't get it. I really don't get this guy.
You know what we need to stop doing? America needs to stop bailing these people out. If you get in trouble in another country, your ass stays there. That's it.
I agree.
That's it. Your ass stays there.
Remember that kid who got caned for painting on spray paint?
Yeah, that kid. I'm glad he got caned. I'm serious,
I remember that taught us all a lesson. We're like, oh,
beat
shit.
his ass.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
If you were in another country, wouldn't you want to be on your best behavior? Because number one, you don't know the laws there like everyone else does. There's cultural differences. It just seems so stupid.
Well, he's doing it on purpose.
I know, but it's just he's
taking advantage of the fact that they don't want to cause an international incident. But like, that was just what, 25 years ago, where that was basically there was not just that incident. There was a few other ones where kids were acting a fool overseas and from America. And yeah, they had to negotiate down to it's like, yeah, we'll let the kid go, but we're not going to just let him go off easy. He's got to get a caning. And everybody made a big deal about that shit.
Dude, I was all for it,
like,
man.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, no, that teaches us a good lesson not to around and find out.
Hey, and that caning shit is no joke. Like they get like some weird, they get like this like a samurai warrior, right? and like the hardest bamboo, and they literally go just in on you. So
yeah,
that kid will never.
I don't know what this is. What happened?
Okay, this was like almost 30 years ago now.
Yeah.
Right? Or actually, it probably was about 30 years ago. It
was in the 90s, right?
Yeah, well, Weird Al did the song off the Crash Test Dummies and referenced it, and that was right around this time 30 years ago, so it had to happen like 32, 31 years ago, somewhere in that region. And yeah, so there was this kid on this trip with a bunch of other kids. I don't know if was he a high school kid or a college kid? I can't remember now. I think he was a high school kid.
I think it was high school.
And they went to was it Singapore?
Singapore.
I think they went to Singapore.
Yeah, because it's Singapore caning. That's what it's called.
Yep, that's what it was. Yep. And so he spray painted on some wall. I don't even remember what the hell it was he spray painted or why. But yeah, it caused some big, huge disturbance, and he was supposed to end up going to jail and all this other shit. Like, this is some stuff that would be like a huge offense if over there, like I don't know, maybe not punishable by death, but we're talking years in prison or whatever. And they ended up negotiating down for a cane.
Well, also, we have to state this too. Singapore is a very clean country, man. You cannot do anything over there. You can't throw gum on the ground. You can't do anything that will, desecrate their land. So.
Mr. Melancholy
for kids could make it. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Melancholy here for two makes a great point. Somali, like a lot of the people we're talking about right now, never got the belt growing up.
Well, that's a whole generation, unfortunately. Like, and that's where, like, as a parent for years, my hands were tied with my kid. First of all, he's autistic, so I can't deal with him like a normal kid to begin with. And then just the fact that, kids were smart enough to go, well, if you don't let me do this, I'll just call the cops and say you were abusing me. Right. So you have that problem too, and I used to say it's hilarious because when I was a kid growing up, if you got in trouble with the cops, you would beg them not to take you home to your parents. They didn't show up because your parents beat you, because the cops would take you home so your parents could beat your ass and teach you a lesson. Right. Like, that's bullshit. And I don't mean that to be abusive, but I mean, if you f up, it's time to find out. Right. You spare the rod and you spare the kid, or you spoil the kid. It's like, that's kind of what we got here. It sounds like to me. I don't know this guy, and I don't want to speak about him personally because I don't know him personally. But
he's a piece of shit.
if you're an American and you go to another country, quit around. You're representing us, right? You're not just representing yourself.
It's people like him that give us such a bad stereotype in other countries. Like, people look down on us because they consider us like we're going to be obnoxious and loud, and that's like kind of the image that a lot of countries like see us as. And he's going over there and just making it completely worse for a lot of us. Like, Japan is having the same problem.
Right.
Like, they've put things on train cars like, don't act stupid here.
But it also reminds me. It reminds me of that chick. What was that basketball player, Brittany Griner or whatever? Griner. I would have left her house in Russia. Like, what are we doing, man?
Right.
Like, we traded a guy nicknamed the Merchant of Death. Yeah. Right. The biggest arms dealer in the world, man. Yeah. This guy's Baron Zemo in real life, and we traded him to get her dumb ass back. Well, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's not like it was Paul McCartney when he was busted with weed in Japan or whatever it was. I mean, like, yeah, this is
look. No one should go to jail for weed, right? But when you're in another country, it's their rules, man, and you can't.
It totally is.
It's their rules, so you can't mess around with that.
But that was my point.
She deserved to stay in a Russian prison.
We're not talking about some minor offense here that's probably a big deal in most other countries like that. We're talking about where you're literally going out of your way to be a jerk off.
Here,
right?
I'll show you what got him. So this is what he's been charged. So in South Korea, like, he's got pending charges, but this one he has been charged for. So this is him in a 7-Eleven throwing drinks and ramen all over the place, blocking the business.
Okay, I have actually seen this video, but you may have showed it to me.
You can't do this shit over there.
You can't do that shit here.
Well, yeah, you would get trespassed and then you don't go back. Like, but over here,
well, you'd probably have to pay damages and other shit too. Usually,
he's charged with like obstruction of business.
Well, and that poor woman that works there, that's getting like what minimum wage.
Yeah, I hate that shit, man. Fucking around with some low wage worker, like, leave them alone.
Well, these are the kind of influencers or whatever you want to call them that need to go away.
Oh, hold on.
Like, this kind of shit needs to be.
I hate this
shit. This is a platform problem.
Call them nuisance streamers.
That's what I mean. Like, this is something that should be banned from the platforms right up. Like, if you're doing shit like this, that can be considered any sort of like crime.
You hear how loud that is? So here's this woman telling him to stop.
I'm not gonna drink nothing. I don't drink. Here, no drink.
He looks like a little.
No. Look here. Here you go. I eat the ramen. Very good. I go. Okay, I shut up. I'm gonna eat the ramen.
Where's he from originally?
I'm not sure.
I was say, is he even American? Because that doesn't sound American to me.
He's over here. Well, he's doing a racist Asian stereotype.
Oh, that's what he's doing?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he does voices when people confront him.
Yeah. What a prick.
We're not even done yet.
Somebody needs to kick the fuck out of him.
Well, they have.
That's what got him, though. See how they've got to walk around him? I'm not kidding. Like, this is the shit got him in trouble.
So Tom, he was in.
Right to say you should never have kids. Your father was right. Your father was right.
Well, no, is he in Japan or Korea right now?
I miss the days when we used to be able to make people like this. Never mind, I'm not going to get it.
No, people have beaten his ass. Like, there's streamers that go and
right. Look, there was frontier justice back in the way. People like this just disappeared. That's all I was going to say.
Well, he did get his ass beat, though.
Yeah, there's a couple of big streamers because he was. I can't remember.
The entire country is hunting him, and one of the guys
trying to beat the shit out of him.
One of the guys that got a hold of his ass is like a Korean Navy SEAL, and knocked his ass out in like one punch, and he got arrested, and the guy was like mocking him while he was getting arrested. He's like, "Hey, Johnny."
He's from Minneapolis. That explains a lot. Sorry.
So you see, like, pouring that water all over the place and throwing the food like a piece of shit.
Nothing against anybody from Minnesota, but I lived there for a while. No, I'm not even going to get into it.
I did too. I lived there for about 2 years in Crystal, Minnesota. It's a different place.
Yeah, it's a hell.
I'll be right back. I got to use the bathroom. Tom, you're in charge.
But no, there are videos of him getting his ass whooped. So at least those are feel good videos.
Yeah.
No, he's one of those He's got a very punchable face. Like it's worth spending a night in jail to punch him in the face and fuck him up. I'm sorry.
So is it that is he in jail now over there, or is
I
he?
believe so.
He's what?
I believe so. I believe he's in prison right now.
Okay.
And they're well, he also so they have a statue there of this girl, and it's symbolic of women that were like raped during the war. And so he went and like sat on because it's like a bench with like a woman on it. He went and he like groped her and like made out with her, and so it was like a big cue to the country, and so they were trying to get him for that. And then yeah, they took his passport so he can't fly. I think they have him and he's gonna like face 10 years in prison.
Good.
I know.
Good. Leave him there.
Too bad it's not more. This is about like those who destroy art for like oil and all. Oh, to me that should be like just.
But see, they deserve to get their ass beat.
Not just beat, but like your ass should be in prison for a long ass time.
Yeah. Well, one girl got 5 years recently, but
should be more than that. It should be almost more than that. It should be as bad as if you tried to steal them.
Yeah, I agree.
Because any one of us went in there and tried to steal one of those pieces of art, how long do you think we're going to sit in prison for?
I mean, at this point, these museums should just like put up fakes. Like, well, why are they having the real things up there right now?
That's what I heard. Or they're very heavily protected, but that's not the point. The point is that people should be able to enjoy this shit.
What are you trying to do to make if they're throwing oil or paint on these paintings, then they
no, they're throwing tomato sauce and tomato soup because the acid in it will destroy it. Like there's no fixing that. They can't restore it once there's tomato shit on it.
Right. So they should maybe they should just put fakes up and put the real ones away.
They actually have in a lot of places verbal, but yeah.
But I agree.
Some of the older ones are beyond restoration too, so that's the other thing.
Well, it also has to do with what the artist was using because
right.
Well, so for example, in Milan, that's where the Last Supper is, and so that was Leonardo da Vinci. He was experimenting, mixing oils and fresco, and so that's disintegrating. That's not going to be around for the next 20 years. So when you go to Milan to go see the original Last Supper, I think now it's down to a minute. And so you're in a room, you're standing all the way across the room. You have to look through glass because the oxygen is destroying
That's sad.
Wow.
So,
yeah,
that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you have a chance to go to Italy, go see the Last Supper because it's not going to be around in 20 years.
Can't we like encase it in something? And
it is, but it's.
Well, like Anna was saying, it's the way it was painted and stuff.
Yeah,
plus the way it's been treated over the years.
Oil and fresco, and so that's why people always ask, like, oh, how come this painting is so famous, and like, how come there wasn't more art like this? It really came down to the materials that people used, and that's why they'll say like archival. So when you go to like an art store, there'll be a canvas that's like $3 versus one that's $50, and they're the same size, and that's because one of them is archival, the other one isn't. So that's why some art supplies are extremely expensive. Put it in a vacuum. They try, but I mean, it's painted on a wall, guys. So if you ever have a chance, go to Italy and go to Milan and go see the Last Supper before it's gone because it's not going to be around.
It wasn't not really well taken care of either for that.
No, but again, it's like when you're mixing oil paint and fresco.
Right. But I mean, it was a tourist attraction basically for how many years is my point. And then now in just recent years, they finally have been trying to keep people more away from it is what I thought.
This has been going on for a long time because it's chipping off the wall. So that's why when you see different photos of the Last Supper.
But what are you saying by long time? Because I'm talking like 50 years. So like, yeah.
I'd have to go and check, but I remember learning about that when I was really young.
I was going to say, because I mean, I thought I've known people who've been able to go over and see it, and they've actually taken pictures and stuff like that. And that's my point.
You can take pictures. It's just behind a glass wall.
Well, yeah, but even before, like that's what I'm saying is how many, because I swear I know people that have actually went in and actually got to see it and stuff. That's my point.
You have to book it, and you go into the little room. I think they limit you on the time now because, again, it's the oxygen. So, yeah.